Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker Enhanced Edition with me, BringItDon. First thing we're going to do is claim the Camelands. Or Camelands. Oh, hey, +1 to community. Hot dog. Alright. Oh yeah, I need to purchase 52 BP. 52. Sorry guys, I'll get it eventually, don't you guys worry. Alright, we got the Camelands. My bald hilltop has been researched. Ancient tradition. We have a traveler. No curses we can work on, that's not great. Oh yes, we do. It's weird that it was X'd out. Oh well. Let's see, it's the 4th, so yeah, we should be fine to put her on this. Let's give her one of these. Alright, let's see who this traveler is. Hey, it's Willis Gunderson. I don't think he had a, For one, he doesn't look plump. Actually, if you look in between his shirt here, he looks kind of ripped. Yeah, that's a new portrait. Anyway, a plump man in his 30s approaches you. His hair is untidy, road dust covers his worn clothes, and his boots have seen better days. The stranger speaks to you in an unusually high-pitched voice. Your Grace, I demand justice. Crime in the barony is on the rise. The man shakes his clenched fist, then drops his hands helplessly. In open daylight, I was tricked, robbed, and if that weren't enough, humiliated. A gang of local thugs tricked me into trusting them. They found out about my possessions and disappeared with my treasures. I sent them to the island on Candlemere some time ago, and they just vanished into thin air. I beg you, find these scoundrels and retrieve my treasure. I'll pay a handsome sum to be sure these villains are brought to justice. Who are you? Willis Gunderson, Your Grace. I'm a scientist, an explorer, an adventurer, and a renowned expert in treasures and artifacts of virtually every era and culture. Jublas eyes Willis up and down. So many titles for a single piece of mediocrity. Willis blushes and pretends that he just noticed the gnome. Sir Narthropple, you're here. What a nice surprise. Oh really? In case you hadn't noticed, I've been here from the start. Or perhaps after the open lecture in the foray Logos and Absalom, you've lost not only the rest of your mind, but also your eyesight. Willis straightens his jacket indignantly and lifts his chin. I see your manners haven't improved since last we met. Well, happily, I no longer consider you the beacon of knowledge you once were. You can joke however you like, I'm above such discourse. Jublas grins. The only thing that puts you above me is your size, Willis. Even that isn't so impressive for a human. Willis's face turns dark red and his eyes start to twitch. Pressing his lips tightly, he turns back to you. Tell me about those who tricked you. They were a trio I hired to retrieve my possessions from Candlemere's island, turned out to be a bunch of tricksters. You must know the place, in the center of the lake, with the ancient temple ruins. So they took my money, jumped into a boat, and whoosh, gone with the wind. So many days have passed, and not a single word from them. And they had the nerve to call themselves a paladin and a cleric. Scum is what they really are. Willis stamps the ground in anger. Can you tell me more about them? A ranger, a paladin of Iori, and a cleric of Nethys. You know, that two-faced god? Frankly speaking, that one gave me the creeps from the very beginning. Half of those servants of Nethys are real psychos. Today they agree to help you, and tomorrow they change their minds at the drop of a hat. And this one played his tricks on me too. Willis sighs. A paladin and a cleric who willingly took a job running errands for you. Sounds strange if you ask me. Willis mulls over your words for some time. You know, Your Grace, when I mentioned the old temple, they exchanged a glance, like I was talking about some hidden treasure. I was such a fool. I should have realized from the start that they had their own agenda. You don't seem like a local. Why would you keep these possessions of yours on the island in the middle of Candlemere Lake? Willis bites his lip as if caught doing something wrong. Well, you see, these aren't exactly my possessions right now. It's just, I learned from the locals about the ruins of an ancient temple on the island, and everyone knows where there's a temple, there's always the hope of some treasure. Willis rubs his palms. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you believe that some sacred relics from the temple of an unknown deity belong to you. By what right? By the right of finding. I dug up all the stories about the temple, I hired the crew, I pointed out where to start the search. Besides, no harm done. No one ever really goes there anyway. There aren't many volunteers willing to visit a cursed island. Noticing the change in your face, Willis restrains himself. Oops, I'm just talking gibberish. Heard some gossip somewhere, and here I am spilling it all on you. The man utters a phony giggle and gulps. It's nothing, Your Grace. Just a big fat load of nothing. Some empty talk about someone sacrificing someone else there. And as for the ghostly lights, I'm sure there's a rational explanation for that. Same with the flash of light over the ruins. Which deity was this temple dedicated to? Who cares? Willis interrupts himself and sighs. I don't know. I never asked. All I heard is that long ago the locals used to perform some rituals there, dedicated to some ancient deity. Some rituals, some ancient deities. Now that's what I call getting into details. With some deep knowledge like that, you could easily write a book. You could call this your opus magnum. You could call this opus magnum of yours some encyclopedia. Okay. Alright, someone offered sacrifices there, and I suppose we're not talking about animal sacrifices. Willis shrugs reluctantly. The locals say things. Something about that being why the place is cursed. And what ghostly lights are you talking about? The lights were strange, you know. Willis frowns as if recalling something. They were brighter than fireflies, and different colors. You can see them even from the shore. During the day, they're barely visible, but at night, people say they're the restless souls of those who met their deaths on the island. No. You're not sure what Willis is talking about. Maybe the island is really haunted and the spirits is really haunted with the spirits of the deceased. You mentioned a flash of light over the ruins. Did you see it with your own eyes, or just hear about it from someone else? I saw it with my own eyes, and just recently. Almost blinded me. Like half the island suddenly burst into flames. When the locals saw it, they fell to their knees and started to pray. They said that the old god had returned. Willis scoffs. Dimwits. What else would you expect from them? Says the king of dimwits. I guess that's all I need to know about the island. Whatever you say, my baron. Alright, fine, I'll try to figure it out. Willis sighs relieved. Praise Desna. Don't let those scoundrels leave with my treasure. If you manage to learn something new, please let me know. I'm staying at the tavern in the center of town. That's where I'll wait for good news. Willis bows and steps back from you without straightening back up. Okay. So request for Candlemere Island.
In due time.
Oh wait, but first things first, I have to make a town. Before I forget. For the Camelins. +1 relations. Ba ba ba. Really doing these 3 areas? Well, that's lame. You can't put one along the river. I know there's locations along the river. That's probably why. Shambling steps. I think of a good. Can't think of a good name for my town. I don't want to call it Shambling Steppes. That's a terrible name for a town. Should have planned this all out beforehand. Let's see. Artisans. Because there's 2 artisans here. Rest. There we go. Something like that. That sounds good. I guess. I don't know. Let's get out of here. Oh, hello. Yeah, it works for me. Why not? Alright, so we have to go talk to Shania. We need to go talk to Bakken. How do I want to do this? Because I can loop down here as well. So we need to go to the Lizard Folk Village. We need to go to the Mud Bowl. But we might do that after we go here. Let's go here first. So we gotta go talk to Shania, then we have to go talk to Bakken. That's our priority. Because we have updates for their quests. Okay, random encounter on town. Well, I'm not on town. The monsters are on the town. Oh, it's snowing.
I do what I must.
A Skeletal Salesman? This isn't new. I think this was added with the Varnhold's Lot DLC? It might be with the Beneath the Stolen Lands. A skeleton walks slowly towards you. His skull is filled with coins, which glimmer through his empty eye sockets, clinking with every step. He halts beside a cart filled with valuable-looking items. He waves at you in a friendly manner with his bony hand. Hello, hello. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Skeletal Salesman. Do not look upon my face, or its absence. Look at my wares. Choose. Buy. Who are you? Oh, this story is as sad as it is cautionary. The skeleton raises a thin white finger. I was once like you, wandering in search of adventure, fearlessly delving into dark caves, hidden temples, and ancient ruins, taking whatever I pleased. But then, I set forth on an adventure which was to crown my career. I discovered the den of a dead dragon. A massive treasure trove lied within. I could purchase all of Absalom with such a hoard, and half of Restov with the change. The owner lay dead upon a heap of gold, bare bones just as I am now, breathless and still. How was I to know he wasn't truly dead? Or rather, he was, but not quite. You know, undead? A dragon lich. I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. He grabbed a hold of me with his bony talon and bid my life farewell. But then I looked upon the pile of bones and equipment left behind by the dragon's former guests, and my panicked mind coughed forth a brilliant idea. An idea worth 1,000,000 coins. I offered the dragon a deal, and he agreed. Imagine that. You see, dragons are greedy for treasure, but they have no need of swords or armor. So I offered to hold a sale. I would turn the junk he has been storing for ages into newly minted coins. The dragon approved of the idea, and gave me the job. He did, however, place a curse upon me, as you can see. Now I am but bare bones. But fear not, to tell you the truth, I rather enjoy it. I go wherever I please, talk to interesting people, and no longer need I fear death. And where is your master's den? I've been asked this question many times. Do you so badly desire that your weapons end up in my cart? If so, then just sell them to me. Or do you imagine that you will find your fortune where hundreds before you have found only death? True, true. Optimism runs through the blood of every treasure hunter. Even those of us who have no blood at all. The skeleton laughs and rattles his bones. I even suggested to my master that I sell maps to his den, guaranteed revenue, and new inventory. But he had no interest in this. He detests guests. He says they distract him from the contemplation of eternity. I suppose the clinking of the coins I bring him does not. Anyway, I couldn't point you to his den even if I so desired. My master robs all memory of the location of his den as soon as I step foot upon the highway. When it's time to replenish my stock, it is he who finds me. Well, show me your wares. The skeleton happily clinks to the coins in his skull. With great pleasure. Here, look. Choose, buy. Half plate of will. +2 half plate grants swear +3 resistance bonus on will saving throws. That's well, that's a pretty mediocre stock, all things considered. But you can have that, 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 that. Yeah, may as well sell that, that. I'll just make some money off of you. How's that sound? Well, it was nice meeting you, Mr. Skeleton. Alright, welcome back to Trollsbane. Let's go listen to another one of Shania's stories and then figure out what she wants from us. Her quest moves very quickly.
I'm off.
I'm pleased to see you again, O worthy one. What brings you to me? What happened this time? Shania hands you a heavily worn piece of metal. I have heard, O worthy one, that there lives a storyteller in your realm, whose eyes can see into the memories of things. Please, show him this. It was the tip of a spear that once belonged to my esteemed ancestor, Vubalak. He is fated to live in interesting times, for it was then that Kothagaz, the Dance of Disharmony, spawn of Rovagug, attacked Vudra. A million Vudrani came out to fight him, and amongst them was the cleric Vubalak. Kothagaz walked across the ocean, and the water reached only up to his waist. He was covered by a mighty shell like a beetle, and the slime from his body covered the waters like fat, calming the waves around him, and his many mouths dripped with spittle. Kothagaz cried out, and the putridity of its breath made creatures faint, bleeding from their eyes, their nose, and their ears, while the monster's saliva burned through everything it touched. Trust me, for I have seen stones that were touched by this poison. Vubalak, however, called forth the priests and they cast their magic. The ocean boiled, and Kothagaz began to boil in it. The whales came surfacing all around him as he screamed, and his chitin hardened, becoming more and more fragile, until finally it cracked and crumbled. Finally, Vubalak saw the heart of the Dance of Disharmony. He jumped so high that his mighty body blocked the sun, and the stars shone in the day. He then threw his spear and shattered spelled different this time. Kothagaz's, I think it's supposed to be Kothagaz's heart into 101 pieces. We have managed to gather some of the pieces, but not all. Perhaps if the storyteller were to read the spear's memories, he'd be able to tell where the other pieces went. Then I might collect them to honor my mighty ancestor. That'd be a truly heroic deed. Perhaps the path of a hero is what fate truly has in store for me. Alright, well, sure, we'll talk to him later. Plus, I forgot to buy a piece of the Onslaught armor from Oleg last time I was at his trading post. His post for trade. Actually, I'm gonna go up this way. Alright, and then back to... They're here screaming at me.
Tear them apart!
Make this quick. Unworthy.
Can I talk to you yet? No. He hasn't seen battle cry.
Adventures can wait.
Why don't we set up camp?
Let's get up here first, then we'll rest. I know we've already been here, I'm just gonna rest inside of it real quick.
May we have a moment of respite?
I hope he realizes what amazing new paths are open to him now.
I wouldn't want to see what you might do with such power.
Alright, next stop, Oleg's trading post. Also, I did find out that if you choose a portrait for one of your characters, it's supposed to change the portrait of the other character if you pick a portrait that's shared with another character in the game. So like, say you pick Keston's portrait, it should be replaced with a different portrait. I haven't tested that myself, it's just something I read somewhere. And sounds like it could be true, so take it with a grain of salt. It'd be a nice touch so you don't have two Kestons or like two like Jamandi Outdoories running around. So I do really like Jamandi's portrait. Alright, first things first, so I don't forget. He should have Onslaught Cuirass, 500 gold, and actually he can have the other crap that I picked up. Let's see, is this the book you wanted me to find? It is, yes. Let's take a look. A bit tattered, isn't it? Seen better days, that's for sure. That'll do just fine. Thank you. Here's the second volume of that book set. Perfect. Hand it over, will you? Wait, I have this one. Well, this is awkward. Of Transmutations and Bodily Poisons, Volume 3. Here you are, Bakken. Bakken's eyes glisten. Just what I need. All 3 volumes. All that's left now is to read through them, assemble all the necessary ingredients. But I can handle that myself. Thank you for your help. I'll send word once I found something. Alright, so that's done. Alright, and next step is to go check out our new town. There's no way to cross here, is there? No. Loyalty and community. Hot dog. The ancient curse is upon us. Alright, it's expected in 2 weeks, so we will take care of that after we go see our new artisans.
Adventures can wait.
Random encounter. Can't be skipped. I hope it's not a fight. Or a hard fight, because we're,
What for Gorum?
Oh, the cultists. Okay.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Taste my fury.
Yeah, we got it. Speaking of owlbears, next time I head back towards the Gnarl Marches, I need to take care of the owlbear that's there, or owlbears, and the Swamp Witch's hut. So I think it gives you like 2,000 XP or something.
Have a moment of respite.
Do I want to rest outside the capital? I guess I could just rest inside real quick. I feel like there's something. I can sell my stuff while I'm here as well. So let's knock that out. We'll rest here and then we'll shoot on over to Artisan's Rest. I was trying to think of major events that happen in the Camelins. I guess the Season of Bloom takes place there.
Adventures can wait.
I could have called it like Bloomingdale. Oh well. Oh, and we need to talk to the, what's his face, the Storyteller, while we're here as well. Let's go to rest. We might actually have to go to the Bald Hilltop next, if we start getting events. Don Victus, spare me a few minutes. You're the ruler of these lands, and I don't dare tell you what to do. But I can't just stand silently and watch what's happening behind your back. The rumors on the streets of a savage goddess, enraged by your appearance in her lands. They say she cursed you, and now you bring woe and death to everyone around you. This used to be just idle talk. But now, when we're surrounded by so much death and suffering, the people are ready to truly believe it. And it seems that someone is playing upon your subjects' fears. I saw barkers in the streets telling citizens of a prophet who is building his own kingdom. According to them, the goddess stands ready to grant forgiveness to any who cleanse themselves of the curse. But this cleansing is accomplished through a terribly cruel death. Tristan gulps heavily. These horrific deaths involve a wild beast appearing from inside the body. And they think it's a blessing. That insane old man Remus, he also spoke of some goddess. True. Joe told me of that preacher. Who knows? Perhaps his words touch people more deeply than anyone imagined. What is this kingdom the prophet is building? Tristan shrugs. I only heard fragments of conversation. I think it's not a kingdom exactly, more like a community, or a cult. I'm afraid that we'll need to find one of their barkers and ask them if we wish to find out more. Yeah, I cannot allow my subject to be taken in by such nonsense. I shall deal with these provocations immediately. Tristan nods enthusiastically. Good. Perhaps after uncovering this mystery, we'll find out more about the nature of the curses hanging over the stolen lands. I mean, there must be a reason that these cultists shout about you receiving the goddess's punishment. If we wish to understand, we must find one of those barkers and learn from them all we can. Sadly, these street preachers scare quite easily and avoid our guards. I'll begin my search without delay. When you find time, look for me on the streets of the capital. I hope that when we meet, I will have already found someone who can tell us more about this strange goddess and her followers. Alright, well, let's talk to the Storyteller first. Got nothing new there. Alright, if Udrani asked me to show you this spear fragment, can you tell me anything about its owner? The Storyteller touches the spear fragment. When he speaks, his voice sounds weak and depressed. We've been walking for 10 days. The caravan's owner is swearing and scratching himself. Seems the fat slob got some bad mosquito bites. I think he's regretting his decision to bypass the border guard through a smuggling route. Half the porters have upset stomachs, likely due to drinking water from the stream I found yesterday. I guess there must have been a reason it reeked. I walked in the front, trying to seem respectable and intimidating. Otherwise, they might realize I'm lost. The trouble really started 3 days ago. I only saw the map once, but there was definitely supposed to be just one path here. We found dozens. Only an experienced guide would be able to find the right one. Of course, the caravan owner thinks I'm such a guide. I told him I've been running this route for 10 years, that I know every bush by name. I really needed the money. They won't let me run up my tab anymore. There's a whistle, then hooting from the bushes. Bandits. 12 ragged, filthy people with rotten teeth and sunken eyes. Not much worse than us now. I rise from the bushes. Their hair and clothes a mess. I raise my spear and scream threateningly, which usually scares off the weaker ones. But not these bandits. They get close. I swing. I stumble. I'm falling, and I hear something crack. Did I break a bone? No, it was the spear. I fell across the shaft, practically sitting on it, and it snapped. The bandit attacks, his bludgeon spinning overhead. Terrified, I crawl under the cart. Members of the caravan are being slaughtered around me like cattle. It was an evil hour when they chose to trust me. Vubalak, a sham guide, a drunkard, and a sad coward who inadvertently led them all straight into a bandit ambush. The Storyteller hands back the spear fragment, his forehead covered in sweat. What an unpleasant memory. I do not believe the owner of this piece was a meritorious individual. Let's go talk to Tristan in the main square. Yeah, I know, I'm trying to... I'll talk to her then. Oh. Tristan's forehead is wrinkled. Oh, y'all need to stop screaming. Alright, Tristan's forehead is wrinkled, as if the priest is deeply puzzled. He's holding a piece of paper covered with writing. We're lucky to have met you. Meet Amalia, loyal follower of the Kingdom of the Cleansed. Do you remember? We've recently been discussing this unusual initiative. The priest raises an eyebrow suggestively. Amalia was so kind as to tell me everything that she and her friends are doing. Young Amalia turns her childishly round and freckled face and looks at you with clear green eyes. She wears a simple dress and a necklace made of dried ashberries and is holding a stack of papers. The girl blushes at the priest's words. Please stay a moment. It would be a pleasure for me to tell you about our kingdom. So what have you been discussing? I've just been asking how Amalia came to the kingdom. What attracted her to this teaching? Amalia suddenly blushes. There is someone in my family who followed the goddess's commandments. Soon I myself will enter the kingdom. And I hope that through loyal service and veneration, I will prepare myself for the main test, which I have yet to endure. Tristan shakes his head. And your family don't mind that this will happen to you? Are they ready to sacrifice you to their goddess? Of course they are. To be one of the chosen, one of the cleansed, it's a great honor for each of us. But you are so young. Why hurry to leave this world before you have experienced it in full? It's wrong to think about yourself. Once I wanted to live in Restov, wear dresses and walk down boulevards. But then these terrible things started happening. So many people in our village died. Amalia looks away. The goddess teaches that selfishness leads to trouble. Now my only wish is to serve the kingdom and the goddess. What did you find out about the kingdom, Tristan? Tristan leans gently towards Amalia. The Kingdom of the Cleansed is a brotherhood of those who believe in the great goddess, who promises salvation in return for cleansing. Forgive me, Amalia, if I'm missing any important details. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Tristan, but I do really like the writing in this scene, this event. I think he handles the situation extremely well, and I don't know, the writing is just superb for this segment. Our mission is saving innocent souls from the curse that falls upon the heads of the undeserving. The goddess is ready to guard from evil anyone who kisses the ground and begs for mercy. Those who have rejected their sinful ways may enter the Kingdom of the Cleansed, and pray for their speedy deliverance from worldly torments. Amalia's voice becomes monotone, as if she is reading from notes, and her eyes stare emptily into space past your shoulder. To give your life for the goddess, isn't it the greatest honor any of us can receive? And destroying the false ruler, isn't that the truest destiny of all nature's loyal servants? Does your goddess have a name? Yes, but only the first faithful knows it. He is the high priest to whom the goddess appeared. He delivers her commandments and shows us her will. Through him she lays open her design, to clear the tormented ground, sending signs and opening doors to her creatures through the bodies of mortals. And what false ruler are you talking about? Amalia's eyes become round. The Baron cursed by the goddess. He is the source of all our woes. He cast aside natural law and vandalized the field and forest. Tell me more about this deliverance from worldly torments. Inhabiting this world, where unhappiness and unfairness multiply, taints the soul and turns it from the eternal kingdom of freedom and love granted by the goddess. But you can cleanse your sins by accepting her gift, a special goodness that sets the cleansed apart. Tristan closes his eyes. Goodness. What goodness could hide in a painful death? Not everyone is capable of withstanding the test, because the way to cleansing lies through bodily torment. But those who overcome their passions and prove their loyalty become the womb of the goddess, to bear her children, wild and beautiful as she herself. The soul of the cleansed rests in the hands of the goddess. Are you aware that I'm the very same Baron who you're condemning? Tristan looks at you fiercely, trying very hard to maintain his polite smile. Amalia examines you, confused and embarrassed. You? It can't be. You're so polite. And Sir Tristan would hardly be friends with such a dreadful creature as the cursed Baron. Alright, you've been brainwashed, girl. Amalia shakes her head sadly. Don't worry. The time will come that you will come to understand that the first faithful was right. I hope it won't be long, when you and I will reunite in the embrace of the goddess. Man. Alright, enough. I see you have many questions. Please take an invitation to our meetings. We meet at sunset in the appointed place, where we accept the sacrament from the first faithful himself. Amalia hands you one of her leaflets. Invitation from the Kingdom of the Cleansed. Soon another meeting will take place. Do come, you and Sir Tristan. Amalia looks at the priest dreamily, then quickly blushes and looks down at her toes. What are you holding? The same invitation that Amalia gave you. Tristan shows you the paper. Alright, well we must go. I have to go too. I need to get to the other side of this city. I hope to see you at our next meeting. And you too, Sir Tristan. Amalia blushes and turns away quickly. Tristan waves to Amalia sadly. So long, Amalia. May the good goddess save you. Tristan looks down at the leaflet he's still holding. His face is sad. A meeting at the appointed place. There are even directions how to get there. Looks like it's time we visit the sacrament. What do you think awaits us at... what do you think awaits us at the meeting? Tristan looks pensively into the distance. Whatever awaits, this mysterious first faithful will be there. Judging by his title, he's the one who invented this insane kingdom. I believe that talking to him will solve many of the riddles we face. Will you come with me to the meeting? I would insist on participating in this investigation. I cannot let you go alone, after I dragged you into this strange affair. And this is one of his redeeming qualities. Amalia looked at you very fondly, don't you think? Tristan shakes his head and turns grim. You distract us from our goal. Is something wrong? Tristan sighs heavily. I worship Serenray myself, but my faith has little in common with the faith of these cultists. They fill the heads of innocent children with pernicious and dangerous ideas which they cannot fully understand. Alright, well we have to go, Tristan. Alright, I'm going to call the episode here. We have a few directions we can go in next episode, but I think primarily we should focus on... Are they back? Let me go check on the Sweet Teeth real quick. If they're back, then we'll send them another errand and then call it an episode. Alright. Oh, what's this? Nothing. We've measured the lake, but there was a small problem. The shore is sometimes so wavy that it's 30 feet to walk, but if you measure every curve, it's 200. If you measure really carefully, it's even 1,000. We argued for a long time what the right way to measure it was, and in the end we decided to take an average. And the figure we got, Elkie, how long was it? The tiefling proudly presents you with a huge skein of wet rope. This long. Alright, let's see if we can complete my task. The road through Varnhold to Talon Peak is terribly inconvenient. Try to find a better one, past the Shrike Hills. Looking for new roads? We can do that. Maybe if we found such a road, we'll be accepted into the Pathfinder Society. Grabbing their travel bags, the young tieflings run away. Alright, they're off on another adventure.
I do what I must.
Alright, and then we'll call the episode here. The next one we will probably go to my new town first, so I can talk to the artisans and get their quests underway. And then we'll see about the Kingdom of the Cleansed. And whatever else we got. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.